See, tonight was pretty interesting because tonight revealed a lot about what's actually required to reach that 100K and go to the next level. Um, and it's just been very eye-opening to me, some of the things that we did wrong last year versus some of the things that we need to do now. So, give you an example. I was talking to my second in command, saying that, we gotta jump on a Zoom and have a little chat and a catch up and map out a few things. Um, about, I think it was like 9 p.m. He's like, I'm gonna go and get some food. And I said, hey, fine, I'm gonna go pop to the shop and get some of these bad boys. By the time I was back, um, my wife was like going to bed kind of by herself. And today was a little bit of a tough day for her. But I felt bad that she's been going to bed on her own for a very long time. And I just don't think it's quite right. Um, it shouldn't be this way, at least. I don't think so. Not if you're efficient with your time. Um, not if we delegate properly. Not if people are responsible. Not when you have that much interest coming in. When you have a brand and a business, that we have so many people that want to work with us. Because everything starts at a fundamental core level. You have a business when obviously first you make money, but when you have a market that wants the exact service that you provide and they want you. It's not enough to have a business. Oh yeah, I sell this because other people also sell it. Did anyone ever buy from you? No, but then you don't have a business. But I proved it time and time and time again, right? So we reached almost €1 million in sales since I started this business. Um, I'm gonna have to look, but I would say it's almost there, or yeah. Um, I'm gonna get the exact number. I started this business. Really, I would count it in 2021. I went full time into coaching, so I'll take that. But as I came back, I I wanted to grab a quick bite. Also, he was kind of ready to jump on Zoom. I said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna be very short, um, and I'm jumping right back, right?" I generally said like, "Hey, I'm gonna grab a sandwich. I'm gonna come back." I was feeling peckish. Now, by the time I was back, he disappeared, and I sat there waited on that Zoom for like I don't know, it was like half an hour, 40 minutes. I think it was 40 minutes. Um, I don't remember exactly, but I just thought to myself, well, these are 40 minutes that I'm never gonna get back. These are 40 minutes that I could have laid in bed with my wife, you know, and just try and be present a little bit next to her, even though like she's going to bed, she could have gone to bed in my comfort, right? Um, so I just thought like I can't keep doing this anymore. I'm gonna be 30 next year, you know. I can't do this. Not in this way. I don't think it's fair. It's not fair on my family. It's not fair on my wife. It's not fair on my daughter. Although she's just like 1 year and 8 months, I think so. I don't know. I always get that wrong, but it's not fair. It's not right. So then I thought to myself, I'm like, how efficient really are we? Because it we didn't really operate as the business that we need to. There's so much to fix, and I know I'm not the only one in this uh, position. At least at this level, I know there's a lot of companies and businesses out there doing a lot of money. There's a lot of people also online that look like they got this shit figured out, and I don't know. Maybe I have some sort of different expectation of what it actually means to make a lot of money. Maybe we're overcomplicating it, but I don't think so. I think it's a case of acting like a big company in order to become one. What do I mean by this? Well, for me to to turn pro, I had to act like a pro would, right? For me to become and get my IV Pro card, I had to act in that way. I had to eat every single day. I had to get my meals. I had to get up. I had to just be so structured, so regimented. If I wait too long, all of a sudden, this now goes into the next meal, and all of a sudden I created a 4 hour gap where I should have had my meals every 3 hours, so that if I leave it too long, then the other meals are going to be too near, too close to each other. So that proximity will not allow me to properly digest everything, and then it's a chain of reactions that happens just because of maybe 1 hour now I delay this meal, and it messes up everything else for the rest of the day, and that's very important, right? And you have to act like a pro long before you become one, and that's how you become one. You become a pro in your mind and through your actions, and then you get that title awarded. And I think it's the same here with the company, in that we have been working without set schedules, right? And that's the first mistake. But you start out as someone that's done 11 jobs like myself, and living as an employee, to then become an employer and become a founder and a CEO. Well, that changes things. All of a sudden you have all this time available, and you can sort your own routine and kind of do what you want with the time. But obviously you know that you need to put the time in, and I have been putting 16, 17, 18-hour days, sometimes even more, for the fact that I wasn't sleeping. And when you draw a line and you think, what have I really been very efficient with that time? Have I taken that time away from my loved ones? Have I taken that time away from my wife, from my daughter? Have I actually maximized that time there? Because it's not just me now, you know. I'm not 19 to be careless, and it's not just me. I have to think about others, and I want to see my kids grow up. I don't want to be there as they do so. I don't want to just live here in this office, and I feel like I have since my daughter's been born. I was working as my wife was actually in labor. I still remember it. Some of my staff quit, and it was a rough time, and I had to cover a lot of work. I couldn't handle it by myself, and it was tough. I still remember, I was at the hospital with my laptop, and I was answering to clients whilst my wife was in labor, and I thought to myself, holy shit. And then I didn't really get to enjoy that time. I kind of looked at it as, well, I'm a man, and that's what being a man is. You work and you take care of the house and you take care of family. But is that smart? Is that called working smart? And that's the whole point. I think for us now, the next step, and that's what I was messaging Alex. I'm like, hey man, look, like I think we now have to start looking at what the next step of the company looks like, in the way that we work, in the way that we conduct ourselves, in the way that we not only show leadership in our business, but also in our own personal lives, in that we work with a strict schedule. We know exactly what time we're starting. We know exactly what time we're taking our breaks. We know when we're going to the gym. We know when we're back. When we're on a lunch break. Because if we need to get a hold of each other, it needs to be like boom, 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 boom. We can be contactable. We're always there. We're available. At least in a set time. Also, when we have meetings, what is the meeting agenda? How do we know based on what's the weekly schedule? And I don't have it. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit anyone. Like that is just what I said, raw and scripted. I don't have this. Like, I just get up and I know what needs doing, what's the most pressing thing in the company, and I'm trying to fix that. Like today, I was looking at the setting process. I was trying to understand every single small bit that happens in terms of that process, and create SOPs around it, in that I will be able to delegate that. Otherwise, we will not grow. Look at the daily actions that we take, look at what the business needs, and the key people, right? Sometimes I heard it saying, and it's not what, it's who. So, who does this? Who does that? Who takes care of this? Who takes care of that? The interest is there. The market is enormous. And we're just looking at Romania right now, right? This is just Romania, not even globally, because that's my goal. My goal is to systemize this, every single part of the business, almost franchise it, in that it's turnkey operation. If you want to duplicate it, and all of a sudden I decide to turn a female version on, right? If I want to start marketing at women, because now like, we only work with men. Maybe we have like 3 or 4 women. Like that's it. But if we want to do that, then we have the whole, like everything's there. The org chart, we know who we need. We need someone here, someone there, someone there, someone there, someone there. Like that's how I want it to work. Like it has to be, McDonald's level. Like every single thing is a procedure, and then once that's done, then I can take this company global. Then I can take it international, and that's where the real money will come. That's where we do the, $500,000 a month. That's where we do the 1 million a month. But for now, we can't even hit 100K a month here in the market. It's totally doable. Like I've seen it happening. I was able to bring 4K days. Alex was able to bring 4K days. We even done a 9K day. I remember in March. I know it's there. The money is there. The interest is there. The need is there. Delivering results. I mean, the results I have as a coach and the results we have as a brand, as a company, Teams TC, is just, it's insane. Delivery is really something that I'm proud of because that's my work. This is all I've done my entire life. That's how I got in this position. I was able to have some of the craziest transformations, and I still do. I know the interest is there. We just need to capitalize on it. But for that, we got to enter the next phase in our company. And I just look and I think, I'm putting all these hours in, but what's the actual physical, tangible work that I can just look and touch and be like, hey, this is boxed off. This package right here, this is the work that's been done today. And we didn't really sidetrack from left, right, center. It's time, it's allocated, that needs to happen. If it sells, then it sells. And I'm doing sales and nothing else. If it's this, then it's that. I'm just doing that thing and nothing else. If it's looking at data analysis, then it's just data analysis. Then if it's, client delivery, it's client delivery. If it's, marketing, then it's marketing. If it's content creation, it's content creation. If it's hiring and training, it's hiring and training, right? So that's the thing that's been kind of pressing me now, realizing that without that, there won't be any 100Ks. There won't be. And if it is, it's going to be a one-time event. Not something that we will be able to sustain. Because not in this way. Not in this way. This is not efficient. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And I'm realizing this more and more, that if you just jump into things and you brute force it, you will do it. Because, we've done good. But are we reaching our potential as a company, as a business? And we're getting outworked by the competition who they shouldn't even come anywhere near us. But I know there's people out there, and I know there's coaches, and I will tell you, because I know there's a coach in Romania that does about 300K a month. His results aren't better. Nowhere near. He hasn't got the credibility that I got. Nowhere near. It's just he's a better operator than I am. He knows how to manage teams. He knows how to manage the whole operation, right? And that's what it is. You understand that once you have a product market fit, you have branding, you're able to portray authority, you're able to show results, you're able to deliver. Well, now you need operations. To scale, you need operations. And that's something that has been a big weakness of mine for a very long time. And that's something that I plan on working on. And that's something that I need to install as a culture. Something that I was messaging Alex about. Like, hey, these are the things that we got to talk about. These are the things that we got to change. This is how this is going to look. Full transparency. More motivation, more money for him as well in the process. Because he is by far one of the best setters that I have seen, if not the best. Like no one comes anywhere near him. Like he's just so good at it. And I think he should be leading the operation for sure. He should be remunerated accordingly for it. And we just need to step into our power. We need to step into our power. Because if we don't, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Yeah, so I was just sitting there, just looking at that one small thing, which spiraled into into the thoughts that I'm having now. That small thing of, hey, let's have a chat on Zoom. All right, we're gonna talk. I'm going to get something to eat. All right, I'm also going to get some get some shopping. I'm gonna get some food, get some of these bad boys, and then coming back, and we couldn't sync anymore, and I end up sending on the Zoom, and he's not joining, and then he's waiting for me. I'm like, hey, I'm making some sandwiches. Then he's like, and he's go back and forth like that, and I'm like, we can't keep doing this, man. We can't keep doing this. Like it's 10 p.m. It's 10 p.m. I should have been in bed with my wife. She's had a tough day, and she needed me there as a husband. My family needs me. I can't be here. Yes, I can, and I've done it, but I don't want to anymore. Like I don't think it's that efficient to then sit there 40 minutes on a Zoom, and you're like, well, because you're not really focused in that work, because you got this open loop that that you're waiting for someone to jump on that Zoom, right? So it's not like you're really, really efficient, and you're like, you can be in that flow state, like, okay, I'm going to continue my setting process, and because that takes time, like for work like that, that has to be very deep work. And yeah, you know, I did all of this kind of 17-year-old work last year up until 4 a.m. until 5 a.m. Don't get me wrong, I know there's very successful people that work very long hours, but I don't. My sleep is, if I go to bed past 2 a.m., I can really feel it in the morning. I have a really shit night. Like I wake up and I'm like, oh, I just don't rest. Whereas if I go to bed at midnight, I feel a lot better, like just miles better. I think that makes such a big difference um, in how I feel. So yeah, this was a big aha moment this evening, just realizing how inefficient we are with what we do, how scattered our work is, how we've been operating in the same way that we did when we were making 20K, and we want to make 50. We're not going to make 50. We're not going to make 100. Sorry, not 50. You can see I'm tired. We're not going to make 100. Not in this fashion, not in this manner. It's just not going to happen unless we change it. And if we change how it works, if we're smart, if we delegate, if we remunerate, if we reward, if we have consequences when things don't happen, if we have procedures, if you have SOPs, if you have people that are responsible for their own areas and they know what they do and they have full clarity, and we know when they're working and we know when they're not working and they're getting their time, and it's just how it has to work. The McDonald's principle, you know. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Big realization. Not that I kind of haven't known this, but today, there's a difference between knowing and having that gut feeling that you should be doing something, as opposed to emotionally coming to that conclusion where you're like, oh, okay. People do things out of two big emotions, whether it's pain or pleasure, and sometimes, I think pain is a great motivator and it moves you. And this evening was just something that, okay, this can't keep happening again for another year. We have to change this. We have bigger goals. We gotta act accordingly. So yeah, I haven't finished my setting process, nowhere near. I started on it. I did start on it, but I'm nowhere near it. In total, we collected 1.3K today. I got two more deals on the line. Someone's going to pay 100 tomorrow and someone's going to do 500. I don't think the 500 will come tomorrow, but yeah. And these are just like VSL sales, because people that were meant to actually show up on the calls, they didn't. So then the VSL is a cheaper offer. It sells without needing presence on the call. The only thing I do, I kind of just, and it was interesting as a mechanism. Um, I don't want to go too much into that. I can talk about it later. But it was interesting as a mechanism because someone that was booked, I'm actually didn't want to, like, I just sent them the VSL and I said, hey, watch this video before our call. And that's actually the VSL, which shows the prices and how it work and everything. And when they show up to the call, they already know the prices, and that was new to me. So I did, just ring them at the time that we had the call booked for, and actually two people, and we closed them like that, which I thought was interesting as a mechanism. So I'm going to explore that further. Uh, but yeah, for now, that's about it. A lot of things to consider, a lot of things to improve on. Um, I'm going to end this here.